Tottenham 1, Aston Villa 2. A Buendia stunner completes the Spurs collapse. And it started so brilliantly today. It started so fantastically for Thomas Frank's men. But Villa, who are now 5 wins on the bounce, they've turned around what was a disgraceful start to the season. And they're picking up pace. They're climbing up that league table. We're going to delve into that, plus more on the Full Fan Highlight Show. Make sure like buttons are hit. Make sure you are subscribing to the Terrace. Get that done for us right now. Cannot wait to see your views on this game. But Tottenham. It's, do you know what pops into my head when Tottenham have games like this? This is what comes into my head. This noise comes into my head.
That's £200 off for a family of 4. Going viral for something just that is really funny and joyful is just...
It didn't work. It was meant to stop. Why at the beginning? Anyway, the Jet2 holiday thing goes through my head. You know the memes of crazy things happening and the Jet2 holiday thing happening? That's what goes through my head when I see Tottenham have these games, because they really did start well. They really did start well in this game. And they were the better team. They had, I mean, whether you watch the game, this is one of those games where if you go and look at the stats, it tells you everything, barring one thing. Spurs missed 3 big chances in the game. Villa didn't even create 1 big chance. Villa actually scored 2 stunners. Morgan Rogers in the first half. The second goal, the winning goal, by the way, the strike from Buendia is amazing. But it's, when you played football as a kid, this is how I always know whether people play football as a kid, if they play ball as kids in the playground teams or whatnot. If you were playing football, what the whole team would be saying is, that goal's Matty Cash's. You could say Dina's, because that touch out of the sky was amazing. But what everybody would be saying in that playground, what everybody would be saying over the park, on the gravel, is that's Matty Cash's goal. Matty Cash could have done what most people do and gone home. But that half volley to Dina, the touch, the way he brought the ball down, plays it into Buendia, the shot, it was sensational. It really was. And they deserve so much credit for that, Aston Villa. They really do. But when you break it down, Spurs had 4 big chances in this game. 4 real big chances. And they fouled. They fouled it. They fouled in a very big way. Oh, thank you. Cheers. They fouled in a big way. They didn't convert their chances. And then what I saw happen in this match to Tottenham, and I'm taking nothing away from Aston Villa when I say this, I want to be very clear about that. What I then saw with Tottenham is the leveling out. They currently sit 6th. It's only 8 games into the season, and the table isn't to be taken too seriously 8 games into the season. You can see with Aston Villa, you have a run of, I'm just going to make sure that the table is now updated fully. You have a run of 3 wins in the bounce, and you go from being in the relegation zone to being 10th, and you go to within a couple of points of being in a Champions League position. 25 games into a season, if you're in the bottom 3 or 4 and you win 3 games on the bounce, you sometimes don't get above 15th. So the league's always a little fugazi early on in the campaign. But Spurs are sitting exactly where I think they're going to be, in and around between 6th and 8th place. I think Thomas Frank overall had done a good job. I'm not going to take back anything I've said about Thomas Frank, but I do think that Tottenham fans over-egg how good this squad is. It's not a Champions League squad. It is not and what I mean by that, it's not a team that you could look at and go, they are making the top 4 in the English game this year. Arsenal are superior right across the board. Liverpool are better. Chelsea are better. City are better. And I mean, so far this season, I would say Bournemouth have been better. We saw the game between the 2 teams as well. I would even argue Crystal Palace are better than they are. They're doing well. But today was the quintessential Spursy performance. Early lead, 3 more big chances in the game which they didn't capitalize upon. They actually defended okay, because it wasn't until they went 2-1 down and then they were conceding goals on the counter. But they just couldn't put Aston Villa to bed. And if I was a Spurs fan this evening, I would be heavily disappointed in that. But I'd be looking at the players. I'd be looking at how they performed individually. And I'm looking now at their lineup just to remind me here. And I thought Mohamed Kudus had a very good game again today. But I felt that Paulinho good at breaking the ball up. If you go onto all the websites that do the rankings, Bentancur, by the way, Palhinha and Kudus. Kudus is probably going to have a low score on all the ranking websites because he didn't get the GA, but he was a constant threat, a constant thorn in the side. And again, although it was Bentancur that taps it in, and I think it is Palhinha gets the assist for knocking the ball back across, it was Mohamed Kudus's cross into the box that led to that goal. But I thought Mohamed Kudus was good. I thought Palhinha in his role was good. Outside of that, I thought Xavi Simons was poor, to say the least. Odegaard faded, started well, and then just became anonymous within the game. Tell starting as the main striker, I think it's just so. I know that Mwani isn't fit. I'm not too sure about Richarlison's fitness, maybe because he was away with Brazil. But Tell was absolutely awful today. I thought Bentancur, outside of his goal, didn't really stamp any authority on the game whatsoever. And I thought Tottenham's fullbacks, they did well defensively. I know they conceded 2 goals today. But I don't really think there was much defensively they could do to stop those goals. They were just brilliant strikes. But they did nothing on the offensive level. They just weren't at it today. And I'm looking at it, and there's a consistency problem with these players. And that's why I see Spurs as a top 6 maximum team at this particular moment. They need more Mohamed Kudus's. They need more Mickey van der Ven's. They need more Paulinhas in this squad if they want to be a consistent top 4 side, a consistent Champions League team, and one that hopefully goes on to challenge. I think Thomas Frank will get a lot of the criticism today because that is what we seem to do as fans. We always want to dunk things on the manager. I just think today what he was let down by was players. 3 big chances missed. Villa didn't create a big chance in the game. They should have put the game to bed early, Tottenham, but they didn't do it, and they were left with their Willy Wonka in their hands. They were. What does this say here? Are they Spurs in disguise? I don't get it. This here says Thomas Frankenstein. Yeah, look, it will be. Listen, I know what the people will be saying. They'll be saying fossil football, terrible manager, didn't make enough changes. I know Thomas Frank will bear the brunt. He'll bear the brunt because we don't like to go in on our players ever. Most fan bases are like that. We stick by our players, and I do get it. But yeah, I think their players were poor. A lot of their players were poor today. Terry, I strongly dislike Spurs. Brandon Pusiol and Kolo Panani. They ruined my parlay. I hear you there. Arsenal will get... What's it say? I need to make this thing up move. Arsenal will get done by Atletico Madrid. Fair enough. Okay. I thought it was going to be about Spurs, but it wasn't. Kudos is good. The rest are effing shite. I thought Paulinho was good today. I think the centre-backs were quite good today. They didn't again, Villa weren't able to create clear-cut chances. They scored 2 brilliant goals. I'm not taking that away from them. But Spurs just faded from it as an attacking force. And Pedro Porro, I'll give you a great example. Right at the end, they're attacking. Colomani's free in the middle. It's a half-decent balls needed centrally. Goes out for a goal fucking kick. It's mad. Deji says Spurs are in the title race. Listen, I love Deji to bits. Deji's my guy. He might be coming on now. So obviously this will be a short show because everybody's going to want to watch the big game that's coming up. But all this, any Spurs fan talking about title races, etc., they were just ridiculous. Terry, talk about Danso penalty tackle. He wins the ball for me. I know there's a follow through. I don't think they should be given as penalties. But again, if I was able to show the footage to Howard Webb, I would show him saying things like it isn't, even if you win the ball, if there's heavy, I've seen him say before, if there's heavy contact on a follow through, it's still a foul. I would love to know the difference. Now, I don't want to see them giving us fouls, but I need to understand it. This is the problem with the PGMOL. Because they protect themselves when they make mistakes, they end up setting really weird precedents. But for me, I wouldn't be giving that as a penalty. He wins the ball. There is a follow through, but it was a clearance as well. It wasn't a challenge for the ball. So if they're both going for a 50-50 ball and that happens, could be different. But when you clear a ball, pass a ball, boot a ball, shoot a ball, the follow through as well, I don't think should be treated in that way. Second goal right now, goal of the season so far. Could be that second goal on every level. Matty Cash volleyed pass. The touch from Digne reminded me of Cantona, reminded me of Zidane, reminded me of Berbatov, reminded me of Sheringham, Bergkamp. Amazing. And then the finish from Buendia, out of this world. You'll be hard pushed to see a better goal this season. especially from a team element. You really, really will. Villa's second goal was offside in the build-up. It wasn't offside in the build-up. There was no offside. And even at the end, where I don't know which player it was now that was running across the goalkeeper, when you actually look at the still shot from when the shot was hit, Danso that was on the floor and his foot was planting him onside, so there's no offside there. Why do you hype losers and ignore winners? I have no idea what you're talking about. You need to be specific. Who am I hyping? This super chat here from O'Malley that's just come in says, I know it's Spurs. Quick thoughts on United's lineup. I'm disappointed Šeško's not starting. I'm disappointed that Lenny Yoro's on the bench. I feel like just gut feeling the manager's got that wrong. But this is my message. Go out. If he goes out there and gets the win today, then he's got it right. So, yeah, I wouldn't have made those decisions myself, O'Malley. But, yeah, it's very, very frustrating personally to see that. But that's just me. Mo's joining me on the show now. Let me just put my earphones on so I can hear my friend speak. And big up to Hassan, by the way, who featured on the United Stands build-up show in front of about 20,000 people watching live when he went on that show earlier today. So big up to Hassan for doing that. Seeing Mo's face reminded me of Hassan. Mo's better looking than Hassan, but it's reminded me of him. That's just why I said it. So Kate here says, well, not well today and feel worse now. Still a lot of work to do at Spurs. Too many bang average players. This is only the start of Frank's project. Listen, I completely and utterly agree with you, Kate. I don't think today is about the manager per se. There's probably some things that can be picked on, but you just saw that your squad was never the 17th worst in the league. Last year was massively on Big Ange. But I feel like the Spurs fan base has gone through this. Has gone through this in the last 18 months. There's 1 minute, and it's always the same group people. And it isn't you, Kate. You're very balanced. The same people that will say 1 minute, this squad can challenge, are the same guys saying this squad is absolutely dog awful 6 months ago, a year ago. The truth is it's somewhere near the middle, and it's a decent to average squad. Being sixth in the league is actually above average. So, yeah, a long, long way to go, Kate, and I hope you feel better soon. Mo is here with me now. Let me just remove the widget off my screen so I can see myself. Welcome to the show. Mo, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, bro. I woke up to watch a game, and actually it was a very entertaining game. The thing about this game, for me, I know we're talking about Spurs and everything, and I actually think that Aston Villa deserves the 3 points. Spurs didn't deserve anything out of this game. I thought the Aston Villa wanted it more. I thought Spurs, were okay in the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then they scored. And then I thought that Aston Villa took the initiative in the game, to be honest with you. Listen, Spurs are a good team. I don't know why people are upset. Some fans, like on Twitter, because I was following Twitter while watching the game, while watching some of the United stand as well. Bro, I think that Spurs are a good team. It's the beginning of Thomas Frank. I think they can battle for the top 5, top 6, right? Because currently I don't see a fifth team that is probably better than them as much, apart from Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. The likes of Newcastle, Villa, Spurs, all these teams are kind of Bournemouth. I know that Bournemouth, they drew yesterday. All of these people will be in contention for the 5th place. I don't think there should be a meltdown because they lost at home. There shouldn't be a meltdown. These things happen. Some of them lost every game last season towards the end of the season, apart from the Europa League final. Thomas Frank is still trying to find the best combination. Tell and Odebe. I thought Xavi Simons was very poor in the 10 today. Couldn't find any spaces. He got bullied multiple times again, similar to Wirtz at Liverpool. That got bullied plenty of times. Maybe they need Madison and Kulusevski back as soon as possible. I know that Madison is not going to come back until probably March or something. Kulusevski is due to come soon. They need Kulusevski in that 10th position. Or maybe he just goes with the physical midfield and plays Sarr and Bentancur and Paulinho in that midfield. But for Spurs, I don't know. I expected Spurs, and I said that people are sleeping on Spurs for top 4. Hello.
I'm working.
You're rooting for Man United today or Crystal Palace? Oh my god.
United. Who do you support, Man United or Crystal Palace?
Don't be shy.
Good boy. Say it louder. Shout it.
Manchester United.
All right. Like to the Spurs thing is Spurs are kind of in a similar like a place like Bournemouth or Crystal Palace, but I think Spurs at the end might make the top 5. To be honest with you, I know that you said top 6, top 7. Yes, Bournemouth have this run, but I've seen this movie before. If Spurs stay consistent, like Bournemouth and Crystal Palace starting strong, and then comes like mid-season, you see them 7th, 8th, they start dropping points, and so there shouldn't be a meltdown. Yes, they lost at home. That goal from Buendia was just a world-class goal. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot beat that. You just got beat by a goal like this. Again, I'm gonna say it again. Like, the aspirations of Spurs is to maybe make Champions League. We aren't looking at Chelsea. You know what I mean? We aren't looking at Chelsea. We aren't looking at Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, or even Manchester United. The aspiration is to make top 5, which is probably you are 6 now. Same points as Chelsea. So no meltdown needed. You have the same goal difference as Chelsea. And you didn't have Romero today, which is one of your better defenders. And
I think they can be happy with, not today, but they can be happy with being 6 after 8 games. I don't see it as disastrous. There are things they've got to improve on. And this comment here says, Tell is here like he hasn't got a game coming up. Do you know what? This week in my members group chat, we had Harold in there, big up Harold, and Lou that were talking a lot this week about how, and it was, I think I forgot to do this. Have you ever seen the film Hook with Robin Williams?
Yep.
And he forgets that he was Peter Pan because he grows up. I feel like I forgot what I learned in the group chat this week. And that is, why do you spend the whole week and the whole build up to a game, even if you think you might lose, stressed, angry, depressed, annoyed? And the rationale they both gave was so brilliant. It was because then you spend 6 days angry, and then if you lose, it's 7 days angry. Where if you spend 5 days kind of relaxed, excited about it, talk about how you could win, and you're happy, even if you lose, you've got 1 day of feeling bad, right? And it's almost where the other way around, that you could spend the whole week angry, and then you might get 1 day of being happy if you win the football match. And I thought, as much as I am nervous about the game, there's no point stressing about it now. What will be, will be. I'll support the team. I'll call the game either way when it happens. But I'm just going to try my best to not allow my whole week, even if I think we're going to lose, to make me angry and frustrated. I just think we've lost the ability to do that as football fans. It's kind of killing the game. It's killing the game. But that's why I'm relaxed. Winter Surfer, what did you make of Spurs today, bro?
I thought Villa, I agree with Mo. I thought Villa overall deserved it. I thought they were the better team. After the initial first 5 minutes that Spurs scored, I thought that Villa gradually grew into the game. Morgan Rogers grew into the game the first half especially. And then it's substitutions again. They were good substitutions from Aston Villa. One of them scored.
But do you think people are crazy to say that Spurs can finish above Chelsea? Is that a crazy shout? Okay, to be honest with you, this is not that coming from me, guys. But I've seen it a lot from Spurs fans saying that it might be a possibility for them.
I think they're going to have more of these games, Mo, because I think their attack is very poor. I think in terms of over-reliance on Mohamed Kudus, and Xavi Simons has not hit the ground running yet as well. I'm not this isn't coming from a Chelsea fan who's miffed that we haven't got him. It's that he hasn't really hit the ground running yet. He hasn't really established himself in that number 10 position. And if you can snuff out Mohamed Kudus, what do? They don't really do anything else. They haven't got really anyone else to turn to. Solanke's not there. Richarlison's not very good. They bring on Brennan Johnson, Odeber's who's scared to shoot. Every time he gets on the ball, he's afraid to do something. I think their attack is gonna let them down in certain games when they need to get back into games. If they go 2-0 up or something, I think they can see games out. Or against the bottom of the half team, bottom side teams, they'll beat them. I think they'll beat them.
I know, I was thinking about this today, and I'm like, the likes of Odeber, Xavi Simons are not a Thomas Frank kind players. They're more of an Ange kind players.
Yeah.
Like that's what like the likes of Sar, maybe Mohamed Kudus. You know, these are Richarlison. These are more of a Thomas Frank kind of a forward line. You know, like Odegaard wants to dribble, wants to play the intricate passing, and Thomas Frank is not about that life. You know, so that's what I was thinking about. These players might cook under a different manager who's more technical and ask his players to be more expressive. I see Richarlison. Kolomwani, I don't know why. I like Kolomwani. I don't think Kolomwani is bad as people think. He's not bad. Not because he missed against Argentina. He's not a bad player.
I just think he's a bit of a wanker. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, but I know, but because people hate him because of the Argentina myth.
I don't see him coming above Chelsea.
I think they're in the 5th to 8th slot. I think they're in that type of range.
You're giving Chelsea fully the top 4 thing, Andrew. I like it.
No. I think I have in my mind. I think it's shameful if we don't finish above Spurs.
I agree. I look at it this way: Spurs for me are like 5th to 8th. Chelsea for me are like 3rd to 6th. So there's an overlap where Spurs could do it, but I see Chelsea as more of a. I see them as a much more of a guarantee. If I had to put my money on one of them to make it into the top 4, I am going to go with Chelsea still.
My guy yesterday said he's holding on to 2nd for Chelsea. He said he's holding on to 2nd. Marshall. You know, you were on a show with him later after midnight.
He didn't even say it when I streamed with him yesterday. He's such a sneak. Oh my God. I'll put him up next time.
He's like, I'm holding on to this. Arsenal don't play well today. Don't play well. I'm holding on to 2nd. And I'm like, bro.
I think Spurs, the issue with like Chelsea, if you're doing a Chelsea and Spurs thing, Chelsea have got players to come back in to like even help with their attack and something.
Spurs as well. Come on, Spurs as well. Don't forget Kulusevski.
Madison and Kulusevski.
Big. Massive. Kulusevski for them is massive.
Yeah, I give him that, but like the choices up front are going to be Solanke and Richarlison, right? In terms of
Kolomwani.
In Kolomwani, Kolomwani. Or Odegaard and Brennan Johnson, who I don't know why they just don't stick Brennan Johnson up front, because that's all he does is tap in goals anyway. I just don't know why.
He would have been. I did think that today. I thought Mateus Tell today was so ineffective. I mean, and again, I think it did count as one of the big chances because he does get a slight touch on the ball. But why are you not going? Go your head, diving header. Should have put them 2-1 up. I think that would have made it 2-1. Might have even made it 2-0. I don't remember the minute that happened. And I look at it and think to myself, Brennan Johnson scores that.
Yeah.
Or at least hits the ball on target. There was also that opportunity at the back post for Alderweireld as well, where for whatever reason, Morgan Rogers just lets it go. And it kind of hits his foot and then goes backwards. And I'm thinking to myself, a good clean contact on the inside of your foot. And that's, again, it's another goal. And I feel that's what really let Spurs down today. I thought that Villa grew into the game and they became harder to break down. But in that first half, Tottenham really, for me, should have scored three goals. And it would have taken the game away from Aston Villa, who are finding their feet again. And you've got to remember, barring when it was 2-1 and Watkins kind of got in, but even then was Eddie's shot blocked, Villa didn't create those clear-cut chances at all today, and they still won the game. That would be my element of frustration because I look at systems this way sometimes. If you're not being ripped apart, and that hasn't happened to Tottenham a lot this season, barring the Bournemouth games, the only game where I felt they were being pulled pillar to post. A lot of their games...
I thought Wolves gave a good account of themselves the game before.
Yeah, Wolves have done that to a lot of teams. They've been, in fairness, no, Spurs were quite very bad away against... Bodo Glimt, to be fair. I did watch that, and I haven't actually watched all their games. I missed 2 or 3, but I felt like they've had a decent amount of control, and today was like that. They weren't being ripped apart. They weren't being cut to ribbons, and that's why I'd be annoyed if I was a Tottenham fan today. You haven't been ripped apart. Yes, you conceded 2 worldies, but when you had your chances, you didn't fire back, and they got let down today by that lack of clinical edge for me. And
they were 10 games unbeaten, right? They were 10 games unbeaten.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like, they've not been getting. I said at the start of the season, I think Staffy called me out for it. I said Spurs will be a hard team to beat this year. I still stand by that. I don't see them losing 15 games in the league or anything crazy like that. They'll be a team that 8 or 9 defeats maximum. Yeah. But even when you beat them, it's like today, they're hard to beat. It wasn't like today was an easy victory. And even when Bournemouth played well against them, the amount of saves and blocks to stop the second goal going in, again, hard to beat. And that's a really important part of the game, to be fair. Do we have any more super chats? Not sure if we do. No, we don't. Which is
Where
great.
are
Well,
the
look,
Spurs lot, man? Where are the Spurs lot?
where are the Spurs lot? I don't know. Well, they've all gone to put their Liverpool shirts on, haven't they? That's why they've all gone to put their Liverpool shirts on. So
You're a Spurs fan, that's bro.
Kate's right here. She said, if Kane was still at Spurs, we win the match easily. I agree. And that's, Arne Slot called it out this week and he got a lot of stick for it, but he's right. You need individual brilliance in every single game. The idea that you don't need it, I find it to be
that's why
weird.
That's why Xavi Simons been the bit disappointment so far this season, because he's not he is supposed to be the individual brilliance, right?
Yeah,
he's supposed to be the one to make a difference. And
no, he went full on Joga Bonito. He went like Kudus, Theo, Udebe, and Xavi Simmons. He went
total opposite of his Brentford
yeah,
team.
he went all he went all the dribbling and the technical ability. Dropped Star, dropped Brennan Johnson, dropped Richarlison. He went on. I'm going full football, move 5-a-side team, and it didn't work. Bro, stick to what you know. Like Thomas Frank, stick to what you know.
Yeah, that's right. He had sugar for the first time in his life. He just went back.
Boys, thank you for jumping on. This is going to redirect you to Hassam's watch along, so go and support my brother over there. We're live, of course, after Liverpool, Manchester United, the biggest game in club football. So make sure you're all back, bang on full time. I want you right here at full time when we're going live. Come on, United. Come on, please. Please, you don't know how long. I want a victory at Anfield. It's been a decade, bruv. My hair fell out and grew back in that time. Let's get another win there, please, people. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.